Now showing creating titles in Premiere. I'd like to create a title before the video starts. So what I can do is go up here to the title menu and select new title and default still, default role, default crawl. Just so you know what those are, default still is a still title screen. Default role is a title screen where the titles roll from bottom to top or top to bottom, and default crawl moves left to right or right to left. We're going to, for the time being, select default still. So I'm going to click default still, and default still is automatically it opens up to the width and height of what your current sequence setting is. In this case, these videos are 720 by 480, which is standard NTSC, widescreen. And so it is setting the title to be the exact same size as the sequence so that it looks okay. I'm going to call this title Ron Title. That's a fine name. I've never heard a better name. Okay. So here I have my title screen. Now I can immediately just click here, the text button, and click inside this window and start typing Ron teaches animation. So I've typed that, but it's not centered. So what I can do is switching off typing, going to selection tool. I can select this and I can position it wherever I want. Now if I want it to be over here, I can put it wherever I want. If I want it to be centered, there's two buttons over here. This one centers vertically. This one centers horizontally. Now that I have this centered, well, I don't just want this centered, I also want the typing centered. So like many word processing programs, there's the opportunity to select whether or not text is, aligned to the left, to the center, or to the right. So by clicking the center button, now that text is centered. If I wanted to have this stand out a little more, then I can always use, there are multiple title styles here to be able to select from. If I wanted to have something where it had a little bit of an outline to it, obviously that is an option. If I wanted to have something white with a black outline, that's an option. These are also specific to a particular font. But if you wanted to, you could always go in here and actually select any number of different options, and notice that they all have the white with the black background, with the black stroke. Now that is actually right here. You'll notice here on this side of the menu here under title properties. This has all the different properties that you can use in order to be able to affect what you've typed. Opacity, for example, if I scroll this up or down, you can actually, adjust how much you see that. Now, if we wanted to animate that later, we can do so. But just as an example, this affects overall opacity, positioning, X and Y, width and height, text wider or narrower. Basically almost anything that you could do with a font or an adjustment to make to the font, you can actually find somewhere in this column. The thing of it having a black stroke around the white is actually right here. By adding strokes, if you add an inner and outer stroke, it's adding this color line to the inside and outside of the actual text. If you click here, this actually allows you to change the color of the text. And if you click in here, you can actually change the color of that outline. So if you wanted, for example, it to be kind of a burgundy instead of black. And then you can also add shadows. This actually has shadows. If you see that I turn on and off shadow, it's actually casting a shadow. So these are all options that you can use when creating the text. You can also create shapes. There are different kinds of shapes here that you can create. Now, I've created this shape because I wanted, say, my text to be on this background, but I can't see my text. And that's because of the fact that this object is now in front of the text because of the fact that it was created after. So, but you can change that. If you go here up to the top under Title and then go to Arrange, the item that I just created is the one that's selected. So if I say send that to the back, it now becomes the back, and the text that was created before it becomes the front. Obviously, you can do it in the other way as well. So now let's take a look at the scrolling, the making a title scrolling. So if we go again back to title and go to roll crawl options, we can change this to a rolling title. And we can select whether or not it starts off screen, ends off screen, pre-roll, ease in and out. All of these settings will affect how the scrolling texture moves through the scene. So I'm going to select to start off screen and end off screen. So there is no pre-roll and post-roll. That's automatically generated as a result of making those selections. And so now, if we move this window out of the way and we take a look here in the timeline, our title is right there. It's automatically created directly within the scene file, so you don't need to save it outside of the file. You can, but you don't need to. It's automatically part of the project. If I now bring this over here and bring it into the timeline and scrub in a little bit so we can see, then we'll actually see that my title scrolls up and through the scene. Now, if we wanted that to be longer, then all we would have to do is grab this and stretch it out so that that happens over a longer period of time. But let's say I want to have it roll up and then get to the middle and then roll away. If that was the case, then one of the options would be to go back and once again change the title from roll back to still, and then with the title selected, go up here and in this time bar right here, go to Effect Controls. And here I can actually open up and key position, scale, rotation, as well as the opacity. So in this case, let's say for example, I'm going to set keys here because I want to start keying what the position is. At the very beginning, I want to set a key here by clicking this little Add Remove Keyframe. And I'm going to scroll this guy, not in that direction, I want to scroll it down. Okay? So it's going to start off screen. Then it's going to come up, and then I'd say, maybe by here is where I want it to be centered. And since we set a key already on where it was centered, we can actually see that right here in this window here to the side. This actually shows where our keys are. So this is our beginning key and this is our middle key. If I grab this key and slide that to this time position, now it gets to that top position at the time that we indicated. And then if I wanted to hold, say, for this long, go to the point that I wanted to stop staying still, add another key, and then now go here to the end of the clip. And if I change this value when a key has already been created, it'll automatically generate a key anyway. And now I can just change that value to get it up out of the top. And now we have a title. Actually, if I hit play, so there we go. It gets up to the top, holds in the middle, and then leaves. So fantastic.
Really? An autographed baseball?
Fantastic. Now in CS6, all of these controls are almost exactly the same. You'll see that if I open this up, it automatically defaults to that size. I'll hit Run Title, CS6. And you can see here that the window is virtually identical. Pretty much anything that you can do in CC, you can also do in CS6. The titles have not really changed very much at all. So you're good to go. In the next section, we're going to talk about transitions and cuts and wipes. Oh my! Editing shots together.